Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Men are simple, but we're not as simple as you think. When a man really likes you, when he's thinking this could be my woman for life, he's not just going to fall in blind, oh no. He's going to test you, and not in the way you might be thinking. These aren't games to play with your feelings. These are little checkpoints he's got to see before he hands you his heart for good. When a man is truly interested in a woman, he's not just thinking about the present moment. He's thinking about his future. Men might not say it out loud, but in the back of their minds, they're running through questions like, can I see myself with her long term? Is she someone I can build a life with? Can she handle the reality of me, not just the highlights? And because men often struggle to express all of this directly, we tend to test women, not in a way that's meant to be cruel or manipulative, but in a way that lets us see if you're really the one we can trust with our heart, our name, and our life. These tests aren't like school exams where you sit down and answer questions. They happen naturally, in moments you might not even realize matter to him. Maybe it's when things get inconvenient. Maybe it's when you're frustrated. Maybe it's when he lets you see him without the polished, put together version of himself. In those moments, he's paying attention. He wants to know if you'll still stand by him when the shine wears off and the reality sets in. Men are very aware that relationships are more than romance and fun. Life has ups and downs, and we want to know if the person we're letting into our world can handle both. If he's thinking about you seriously, he's going to watch how you react when you don't get your way. Does she lose her cool? Does she get disrespectful? Or does she find a way to stay composed and respectful even when she's upset? Those answers tell him a lot more than anything you say during the good times. Sometimes the test is patience. A man might slow things down, not because he's unsure about you, but because he wants to see if you're there for him or just there for the excitement. He might take his time before committing fully because he needs to know that you're willing to invest in the process, not just the end result. If a woman can't handle the waiting, if she's constantly pressuring and rushing, he might feel like she's more interested in the title than the relationship itself. Men also test to see if a woman is genuine. That's why sometimes a man might downplay his success or act like things aren't going perfectly just to see how you respond. If your energy changes when you think he's not as stable or as successful as you thought, that's a sign to him that you might not be in it for the right reasons. But if you can look past temporary setbacks and still see the man's value, that's when he starts to feel secure in your intention. Another subtle test is trust. A man wants to know if he can trust you with his vulnerabilities, with his flaws, and with the parts of him that aren't picture perfect. So sometimes he'll share something small, not overly deep, just to see if you keep it to yourself or if you turn it into gossip. If you prove that you can keep his trust in the little things, he'll feel safer opening up about the big things. It's important to understand that these tests aren't about trying to trap you or set you up to fail. They're about clarity. A good man wants to be sure that the person he chooses can walk with him through the storms as well as the sunshine. The truth is, men know that when they choose the wrong partner, it can cost them everything: their peace, their money, their future. So if he's being intentional, he's going to make sure before he invests everything in you. And the thing is, he's not looking for perfection. He's not testing you to see if you'll pass every single scenario without a flaw. What he's really looking for is your heart, your character, and your willingness to grow together. If you can show him that you're genuine, loyal, patient, and capable of sticking through the highs and lows, you'll pass every test without even realizing you were being tested. When a man first starts getting serious about a woman, one of the first things he's going to check, whether he says it out loud or not, is her patience. Because patience tells a man more about a woman than almost anything else. It shows him if she's grounded, if she understands that good things take time, and if she's willing to let something grow instead of trying to force it. Men know that in relationships, there are going to be seasons. Some seasons are exciting, full of passion and fun, but some seasons are slower, filled with real-life work stress, family issues, and responsibilities. A man wants to know early on if you can handle those slow moments without running, complaining, or trying to rush the process. The truth is, men are built to move at their own pace when it comes to love and commitment. That doesn't mean they don't care or that they're unsure about you. It just means they want to make sure the foundation is solid before they build the house. And for that, they'll slow things down on purpose sometimes, not to frustrate you, but to see if you can ride with them at a steady pace. If you're constantly in a hurry to lock things down, asking for titles, commitments, or big moves before he feels ready, a man starts to wonder if you're more in love with the idea of a relationship than with him as a person. Patience is a test because it reveals character. A man watches how you act when things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like. Do you stay supportive, understanding, and consistent, or do you start throwing ultimatums, creating drama, and pulling away? He wants to see if you can enjoy the journey, not just focus on the destination. And in those quiet, slower moments, he's observing you closely. Maybe he takes a little longer to call back or to plan the next day. Maybe he doesn't talk about the future right away. It's not always because he's unsure. It might be because he's checking if your interest is tied to constant excitement or if you're here for the long haul. Men also test patience in subtle ways, like seeing how you handle disappointments or delays. Maybe he can't make a date because of work. Maybe something in his life takes his attention away for a short while. If you can give him that space without making it into a battle, that speaks volumes to him. Patience isn't just about waiting. It's about waiting with the right attitude. Anyone can wait while complaining, but patience with grace, that's rare. And that's what makes a man think, she's different. This patience test isn't only about timing, it's about trust. A man wants to feel like he doesn't have to rush to prove himself to you every second. He wants to know that you believe in him enough to let things unfold naturally. The pressure of having to constantly prove love on your schedule can push a man away faster than you think. But if he feels that you trust his pace, that you're willing to let him lead the timing while still being fully present in the relationship, that gives him the confidence to move forward. There's also another side to this test. Patience tells a man if you can handle the reality of a long-term relationship. Because after the newness fades, patience becomes one of the most important qualities you'll need. There will be days when things aren't perfect, when plans change, when life throws curveballs. If you've shown him early on that you can handle the slower, less glamorous parts of building something real, he'll believe you can handle the rest. Some women hear the word patience and think it means settling or waiting forever without progress. That's not it. Real patience is about allowing growth while still knowing your worth. It's about showing a man that you can let love breathe, that you don't have to suffocate it by demanding it move at a speed that feels safe to you but unnatural to him. When you have that kind of patience, you're not just passing his test, you're making him want to speed things up himself. Because nothing makes a man more eager to commit than a woman who makes the journey as good as the destination. When a man is truly interested in you, he's not just looking at how you act when everything is easy. Anybody can be sweet, loving, and supportive when the sun is shining, the money's flowing, and there are no problems. But life doesn't stay perfect, and a man knows that. That's why if he's serious about you, he's going to create or allow certain small challenges to see if your loyalty is real. It's not about being sneaky or manipulative. It's about making sure that when the rough days come, you'll still be standing beside him. See, loyalty isn't tested in good times. Loyalty is proven when things get a little messy, when you're not getting exactly what you want, or when he's not in a position to impress you. That's when a man watches you the closest. He wants to know, is she here because she loves me, or is she here because it's convenient right now? And the only way he can answer that is by seeing how you handle moments that aren't picture perfect. Sometimes those challenges are intentional. He might step back a little to see how you react. Maybe he doesn't call for a day or two, just to see if you stay calm or if you jump to assumptions. Maybe he lets you see a side of him that's stressed or frustrated, because he wants to know if you'll still respect him when he's not on top of his game. A man who's thinking long term wants to know if you can handle him at his lowest before he gives you his highest. Other times, the challenges aren't planned. They just happen. Maybe he has a bad week at work. Maybe family drama comes up. Maybe money gets tight for a bit. But even in those moments, he's paying attention to you. Do you become impatient and start complaining? Do you compare him to other men? Or do you show up, encourage him, and let him know you're still in his corner? Those answers tell him everything he needs to know about your loyalty. Here's what men know deep down. Life will throw unexpected situations your way. If you're going to be his partner, you need to be able to handle the waves without jumping off the boat. If you only stick around when things are calm, he knows you won't last when the storms come. And that's why these small challenges are so important. They reveal whether you're committed to the man himself or just to the good moment. Men also pay attention to how you treat them when they can't give you what you want right away. Maybe you've asked for something, time, a trip, a certain gesture, and for some reason he can't deliver in that moment. If you turn cold, distant, or start pulling away, he takes note. But if you can still show love, still show respect, and still treat him with kindness, even when things aren't perfect, that speaks volumes. This kind of loyalty is rare, and men know it. That's why when they find a woman who passes this test, they don't forget it. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about showing him that you won't abandon ship when it's not. The truth is, men fear giving their heart to someone who will disappear the moment things get hard. So when he sees that you're still there, still supportive, still riding with him, even when the situation isn't ideal, he starts to feel safe. And when a man feels safe with you, when he believes you're not going to switch up on him in tough times, that's when he opens himself fully. That's when he starts sharing his deeper thoughts, his fears, his plans. That's when he starts seeing you not just as someone he dates, but as someone he can build a life with. Because passing those little challenges tells him you're not temporary. You're a partner. One of the biggest tests a man will give a woman he's serious about is how she talks to him, especially when she's upset. See, it's easy to be sweet when things are going right, when you're smiling, laughing, and there's no tension in the air. But the real character of a person shows up in moments of disagreement. For a man, respect isn't just something nice to have in a relationship, it's a requirement. It's how he measures whether he can truly see himself with you for the long haul. Men pay close attention to your words, your tone, and your body language when you're not happy with them. When emotions are high, it's tempting to let anger lead and say whatever comes to mind. But here's the thing, what you say in those heated moments doesn't just fade away. A man will remember the way you speak to him when you're mad, and it will shape how safe he feels with you moving forward. If he feels like you'll tear him down, belittle him, or attack his character in those moments, it plants a seed of doubt in his mind about whether this relationship is truly a safe space for him. Respect during conflict doesn't mean you can't be honest or express frustration. It means you can address issues without degrading him as a man. You can be direct without being destructive. A man notices if you can disagree without making him feel small. And for a lot of men, that's the real test. Can you love him enough to protect his dignity, even when you don't agree with him? Some women don't realize that certain words cut deep for men, even if they don't show it in the moment. You might think it's just an argument, but to him, disrespect feels like a wound that takes time to heal. When a man's respect is damaged, his trust in the relationship starts to weaken. That's why men are so sensitive to this test. They know that without mutual respect, love won't last. Men will sometimes intentionally slow down an argument or go quiet just to see how you react. Will you give him space to collect his thoughts, or will you push harder, raising your voice, throwing insults, or bring up the past? He's paying attention to whether you fight fair or fight dirty, because life is full of disagreements, and he needs to know that you won't turn into his opponent every time there's a problem. It's not just about what you say to him, it's also about what you say about him. If you run to friends or family and talk down on him every time you're upset, that's another form of disrespect in his eyes. Men value loyalty, and part of loyalty is keeping certain struggles between the two of you instead of broadcasting them to the world. When you protect his image, even in private moments, he sees you as someone he can trust with his heart and his reputation. Respect also shows in the little everyday things, how you listen when he's talking, how you speak about his efforts, and how you acknowledge what he brings to the table. Men want to feel appreciated, and that appreciation matters even more during hard times. If you can look him in the eye and speak to him with kindness when you're angry, it sends a powerful message that you're in this with him, not against him. When a man sees that you can maintain respect in moments of tension, it changes the way he looks at you. It tells him you're not just in it for the good days, you have the emotional maturity to work through the bad ones. That kind of respect builds trust, and trust is what makes a man feel safe enough to open up, to be vulnerable, and to commit fully. Once he knows you'll treat him with respect, no matter what, he'll stop testing for it, because he's already found what he's looking for. When a man is thinking about making you a permanent part of his life, he's not just looking at the chemistry between you. Chemistry is great, but it's not enough to build a future on. He's also looking at how you handle the things that really matter when the excitement fades. How you deal with money, how you interact with family, and how you carry yourself under pressure. These three areas tell him more about your readiness for a serious relationship than almost anything else, because they reveal the kind of partner you'll be when life gets real. Money is one of the first things he quietly observes. He's not just checking if you have it, he's checking how you use it. Are you responsible? Do you live within your means, or do you blow through every dollar the moment it hits your hand? A man who's building a future wants a partner who can help protect it, not one who will drain it. It's not about being rich, it's about being wise. If he sees that you can budget, save, and make smart financial choices, he feels safer imagining a life with you. But if he notices reckless spending, debt piling up, or a habit of chasing luxury over stability, that's a red flag he won't ignore. Family is another big area he pays attention to. He watches how you treat your own family, whether you respect your parents, whether you show up for your siblings, how you handle disagreements with relatives. These things matter because it gives him a glimpse of how you might treat his family one day. If you're rude, dismissive, or unwilling to make an effort with the people who raise you, he wonders how you'll act when it comes to his. On the other hand, if he sees you being kind, patient, and respectful, even when family isn't easy to deal with, that makes him believe you could fit into his world without causing unnecessary chaos. And then there's pressure. The real test of character. It's easy to smile and be sweet when life is comfortable, but what about when things get tight? What about when there's stress at work, an unexpected bill, or a problem that has no quick fix? A man watches closely during those moments. Do you panic? Do you complain endlessly? Or do you take a breath, keep a level head, and start figuring out solutions? Pressure reveals whether you're a partner he can lean on or someone who will crumble the moment things get difficult. Sometimes he'll even allow small, stressful situations to happen just to see how you react. Maybe he lets you plan something important to see how you manage deadlines. Maybe he gives you a glimpse of a personal problem to watch whether you step up to support him or step back because it's inconvenient. These aren't games. These are his way of finding out if you built for the long run. The truth is, money, family, and pressure are all parts of real life that love alone can't fix. A man knows that if the two of you can't work well in these areas, the relationship will struggle no matter how strong the attraction is. So when he sees that you're financially responsible, family-oriented, and able to stay grounded under pressure, it's like 3 green lights telling him she's ready for this life. A woman who can handle those things earns a different level of respect in a man's eyes. She's not just someone he dates. She's someone he can trust with his future. And once he knows you can handle the weight of real life alongside him, that's when he starts picturing you not just as part of his present, but as part of his forever. So when a man is truly serious about a woman, he's not going to keep her in a constant state of guessing. Those little tests he gives in the beginning, they're not meant to last forever. They're there so he can see if you're really the person he can build his life with. And when you've shown him through your actions, your patience, your loyalty, your respect, and your ability to handle the ups and downs, something shifts in him. He stops testing. Why? Because he's already made his decision, you're worth his all. Men don't keep testing a woman they trust. Once he knows you're solid, once he's confident that you're not just there for the good days, he relaxes in a way you've never seen before. He starts sharing more of himself, letting you in on his dreams, his fears, and the things he doesn't tell just anybody. He stops holding back because now he knows you've got his back. Those early tests were his way of protecting himself, but passing them means you've earned a level of trust most people never get from him. When a man stops testing you, his energy changes. He starts planning with you in mind, not just for next weekend, but for the next year, the next 5 years. He makes decisions thinking about how they'll affect the two of you instead of just himself.